What's going on, YouTube? Happy Saturday to everybody. Hope you guys are having a great day. Let me know if there's any audio or video issues that you guys need me to fix. I'm your host, RDAPdan, Federal Prison Time, and we have our live pet cam running today. So we've got Sweater Vest Einstein joining us, and we've also got Cowboy Oliver, but he doesn't want to wear his hat, so we'll try to put it back on him there. There you go, Oliver. So we got Cowboy Oliver, Sweater Vest Einstein. They're going to be joining us today. Hope you guys are having an amazing day. I thought today's Saturday, so let's try to keep it upbeat. I had a really amazing phone call yesterday that we're going to talk about in a minute that really inspired me for today's video. So before we get started, if you haven't already done so, make sure you subscribe to my channel to show some support. You can do so by clicking the subscribe button. Also, if you tap the bell up in the top right-hand corner of your YouTube screen, that will put you on our notification list to make sure that you receive notifications through YouTube. And also, you can text the word YouTube to 35074 as you see on this screen, and that will add you to a text message notification that lets you know when we're getting ready to go live. So welcome. Who do we got in the room with us? We got Sanser Santana. Hello, Mr. Merrick. How you doing? Source Irrelevant. How are you? Mr. Merrick, love the show with your wife. Thank you. I had a lot of fun doing that with Shelly, and she had way more fun than she thought she was going to have. She thought she was going to be nervous and anxious, and you guys remember at the end of the video when the hour was up, she couldn't believe that much time had already gone by. So we will be seeing more of Shelly, and when Shelly can't join us, we'll have the wonderful Einstein and Oliver to keep us company. And I swear to God, that's not a still picture. Look, I'll put my hand in there and pet him. There he is. There's Einstein and Oliver, and they love biscuits. Just not. Oh, there he is. There's Cowboy. Later, we'll get biscuits later. Dog is insane. So Monday, just to let you guys know, upcoming Monday, we're going to be having a live stream, of course, like we always do, but we're going to be interviewing a gentleman by the name of Will Townsend, who is one of our clients who received probation. He's one of our state case clients, so we don't just deal with federal. We also have state case clients that we help with character reference letters, personal narrative, and additional writing. We've brought on a paralegal that is going to be helping us. We have some clients that need some assistance with filing different motions that they're trying to file on their own, so we're going to be able to assist through the paralegal service. So that's something that you guys can look forward to. So yesterday I received a phone call. Yesterday morning I received a phone call before I even got up. It was like 5 o'clock my time, and he was in New York, so I don't think he knew the time difference. So when I checked the voicemail, it was a guy that was calling for his son. His son's getting ready to get released from prison and in New York. And he's really worried because his son has just continued to make a lot of bad choices while he was in prison. Lost a lot of his good time. He's serving pretty much 100% of his 42-month sentence. So he lost all of his good time, no halfway house, and he's sitting in the shoe right now. So he's really nervous on when he gets out, and talking about, positivity and rational thinking and what we can do to focus. And he says the biggest thing he thinks his son's problem is his son has never experienced any real success outside of criminal activity. Oh, we got to get Oliver on there too. Outside of criminal activity. All right. So he's worried his son's going to return home and get back into selling drugs and things like that, because that's what gives him a sense of pride and acceptance through, other common criminals in the community, giving him that high five and living that fast lifestyle. So he's trying to find a way to give his son a chance. And his son, I think, is just turning 20. I want to say he was 27. His son is getting ready to turn 27, and he's trying to find a way to give his son the sense of you can achieve the same type of fulfilling feeling without breaking the law. So this gentleman spends a lot of time focusing on positivity, motivational speakers, motivational statements, motivational videos. He sent me a bunch of videos yesterday, and I got to tell you guys, if you're having a bad day, like a lot of you right now that are watching this video, I don't know how many of you are in here right now. Let's see if it will tell me here. A lot of you that are watching this video are experiencing some really rough times, going through anxiety, getting ready to prepare for federal prison. Sure, you can give me a call and we can talk about getting you ready as far as getting you ready with your personal narratives and your character reference letters, and making sure you understand what needs to go into your pre-sentence report, making sure you know what you need to do in order to qualify for the residential drug addiction program, helping you get additional halfway house. Yes, we can help you with all that, but you've got to be willing to pull yourself out of the funk that you're in and do something positive with your time. What are you doing with your time? Are you taking action? And sometimes just hearing it is not good enough. So I don't know what you guys are doing right now. When I say right now, I mean literally like right this minute. It'd be really cool if you guys could take a moment and sit down, and it's a 5-minute video that I found that I think was really uplifting and really motivational. And I thought it would be good for you guys to check this out. So if you can spend 5 minutes, and if you can keep your attention span for the next 5 minutes, this is a video I found on YouTube, and it's called Never Give Up. So we're going to play this video, and then we'll talk about it a little bit, and just try to let yourself get into it. If you're not into motivational, you're not into motivational speakers, be objective to it, open up to it, and maybe you'll learn something different that is going to give you a feeling of, hey, this is what I needed to hear today to make the rest of my day the best it can possibly be. So let's go ahead and watch this video, guys. Let me go ahead and get it ready here. So, and after the video, tell me all what you think. All right, here we go.
You know, when I was a kid, I could go through a math book in a week. So I'm going to go see about the job they got down there.
What job?
Stockbroker.
Stockbroker.
Yeah.
Not an astronaut?
But I listened to what Jim Valvano said 21 years ago. The most poignant 7 words ever uttered in any speech anywhere. Don't give up. Don't ever give up. Those great people didn't. So I now have a responsibility to also not ever give up. I'm not special. I just listened to what the man said.
But I tell you, there are some times in life where you fall down and you feel like you don't have the strength to get back up. I will try 100 times to get up, and if I fail 100 times, if I fail and I give up, do you think that I'm ever going to get up? No. But if I fail, I try again and again and again. For as long as I try, there's always that chance of getting up.
No matter what you might be going through, don't quit. The secret is in not giving up. Everybody who's done something great, they weren't that deep. What they had was resiliency. They had the ability to bounce back. All the greats, they didn't quit. No matter how impossible your situation may seem, stay on course. I guarantee you cannot pass it if you quit. I guarantee you're gonna fail, but you don't know what's gonna happen if you keep going.
I'm fragile. I feel pain. I hurt. I open my eyes. I crave victory. I do not give up. I feel no fear. I fear no man. I create. I conquer. I hold the power.
Make a choice. Just decide what it's going to be, who you're going to be, how you're going to do it. Just decide. And then from that point, the universe is going to get out your way.
We can't have another bad year. You've got to get to the point where enough is enough.
It's much easier to come up with excuses and why you can't do it. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. If you do what is easy, complain about your situation, your circumstances, you surrender and give up on your dreams, become depressed and bitter and angry. Anybody can do that. If you do what is easy, your life will be hard. But if you do what is hard, keep coming back again and again and again. Get up dressed every day. Take life on. Taking life by the collar. You say, yes, I will do it. I can do this. And you've said to yourself, I'm willing to face the nose. I'm willing for people to laugh at me. I'm willing to gut this out. I'm willing to make this happen. It's my time. It's possible. It's necessary. It's hard. It's worth it. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can do it. If anybody's ever done it at any point in time in history, then what's possible for one, it's possible for me, and I'm going to do it. And if you do that over and over and over again, your life will be easy.
Tomorrow's going to be your first day. If you'd like to work here as a broker. Would you like that, Chris?
Yes, sir.
So I don't know about you guys, but to me, that is a really, really inspirational, powerful, small 5-minute video that, and there's a million videos like that on YouTube, guys. There's a million of them, you know, on your podcast, Tony Robbins books. There's so many different avenues that you guys can choose to not allow yourself to focus on just the negative aspect of this uncertain future that a lot of us face of getting ready to go to federal prison. Did most of you guys see the video? Source Irrelevant says he didn't see the video. Did that play for most of you? It should have. But I don't know why you didn't see it, Source Irrelevant. Maybe when you play back the video later, it will be on there. But I was definitely streaming it, so it was there. But guys, the point is, when you're faced with all of this adversity and the federal government and dealing with your attorneys and dealing with the prosecutors and wondering what's going to happen next and thinking about how your children and your family are going to get through this, the way that you're going to get through this is by not giving up. It's so simply put. It sounds so easy, but yet so many of us struggle, and we make this so much harder. We make this journey so much more treacherous than it needs to be. I've got a couple of clients that I really hope are watching this video. Christopher, you're one of them. Christopher, if you're watching this, you know, you've been a client now for a few weeks. You know, we're waiting on a few things from you, and you just haven't been able to get yourself motivated to make that next step, to get your letters started. You know, last night, Alfredo, I spoke to a brand new client last night, called me at like 10 p.m. my time. And he's 2 hours different, so it's like midnight his time. And I don't think he expected me to answer the phone. And talking to him, I could just sense it in his voice. You know, he's getting sentenced a week from Tuesday, and he just feels defeated. He's battling with his family right now. His wife doesn't understand why he's going to. She understands why, but she doesn't understand why he made these decisions. This was one of those situations where his family didn't know the crimes that he was committing, and now he's really worried how his family is going to survive. You know, in reading he already sent me over a character reference letter. That's how fast this guy is putting stuff together. He literally became a client last night between the hours of 10 and midnight, and this morning I received a letter from his son, one of his character reference letters. And you can see how hard it is for a family member to open up and say the things they need to say about their father. One of the statements that his son made in there is, "I know my father did this for us." No, guys, if your family and friends are writing character reference letters like that, and they're saying that they know that you are out there committing these crimes for them, that's the wrong way to look at this, because they're not doing it for you. They're doing it for them because they like the way it feels to become a provider. They like the emotional connection that comes from it. If they're really doing things for you, And if, just like me, if I was really doing my actions and my choices for my children, I would have been thinking about the potential consequences of what could this adversely have, what kind of adverse effect could this have on my life if I continue down this path. And if I really would have been focused on that and really paid attention, doing the right thing for my children would have been to get a second job, to find a different job, downsize our lifestyle. That would have been because you need to be a part of your children's life. I was taken away from my children's life for, even though I was only in prison for 13 months, I released to a different state, halfway house. I've seen my kids twice since I've been out of prison, and I've been out of prison almost 2 years, and my kids live in New York City. So if I was really doing it for my children, it sure sounds like they suffered a serious consequence for me doing the right thing. It's great, Mr. Merrick. I'm glad, man. Mr. Merrick says he read Tony Robbins' Awaken the Giant Within, and it helps in business, it helps in relationships, it helps in getting ready to go to prison. I mean, there's not really a situation that a book like that or a video like we just watched, if you're in the right frame of mind and you're willing to accept help, you're willing to accept advice, you're willing to admit that you don't have it all figured out, videos, books, motivational speakers, it can mean something. And it all starts with making choices and not giving up, guys. That's why I really wanted to focus today on, and not really getting into much about services and things like that we do to help you guys. It's what you can do to help yourself. And I'll tell you, one of the things that got me through prison was not the thought of my family and my friends getting out. Yes, that's part of it. But what good is all of that if I didn't learn anything through this experience? I wasn't gone a lifetime. I didn't spend a lifetime behind the fence. I spent 13 months. But that 13 months, I focused every minute of my life in prison doing something that I felt like was going to better my situation, whether it was writing a letter, reading a book, taking a class, exercising, engaging in positive conversations. I watched a really, really good interview today from Michael Santos. Michael Santos interviewed a guy named, I have his name written down in the other room. His name's Danny something. Spent 10 years in prison, and he was talking about his life. Now he's a successful realtor in California, and this is a really good interview. So if you guys bounce from this channel after this and you want to go check out a video, go to Michael Santos's channel. It was a pretty recent upload. It's one of his last 2 or 3 videos. It's an interview with a gentleman by the name of Dan or Danny something. And this guy was a gang leader. He was heavily involved into gangs as a youth. Got sentenced to 10 years in prison, minimum mandatory. And in prison, you read a lot of books in prison. That's one of the things that you'll hear from a lot of people. People that do not normally read books on the outside likely will start reading books on the inside. The situation that you want to try to focus on if you're going to be in prison reading books is what type of books are you wasting your time reading? Are you reading a bunch of fairy tales and fun novels? Or are you reading books that are going to help better your situation and expand your mind? Because your preparation for release and whatever you think you're going to do as a career later on in life, it starts that moment in prison when you decide to start turning your life around. And one of the things that this guy said was he was laying in his bunk reading a book and reading a lot of books, and he was reading some bullshit book, and one of the older dudes that he's on good terms with came up to him and said, "Why are you reading that garbage?" and threw him a book. And I don't remember the name of the book. I've got it written down in the other room. It's a book I actually want to check out. And guys, it's completely changed this guy's life. And he's now a successful realtor after prison. Convicted felon, gang violence involved, is now a successful realtor, living the American dream. And it all started from that day in prison. His success as a realtor didn't start when he got out of prison and he started taking the real estate test and failed it several times. That was part of the journey, yes, but it started that day in prison when he decided he no longer wanted to live that lifestyle. And yes, a lot of you aren't gang members, and you're not violent, and you're not drug dealers, and you're not gun runners, but that doesn't mean that you haven't done things the wrong way. We can't say that we've done these lifestyles for our children or for our families. You can't say that you're out there doing criminal activity, whether it's tax fraud, mortgage fraud, real estate fraud, whatever, Medicare fraud. You can't say you were doing that for your family, because you weren't. You were doing it for you because you liked the way and the intention that it brought. And it's easy to say you're doing it for your family because that allows you to pass off the responsibility for the actions that you and I made. So take ownership of what you did and use this time that you're in prison to redefine what you want to do when you get out and start prepping and planning for that now. Don't plan right before you get out of prison because then you're not going to know what you're doing. There's not going to be any roadmap that is started. I'm going to read some comments here. Source irrelevant. He read a lot in prison. A good book I recommend. It's The Road Less Traveled. Good book. My Amazon account has blown up. I imagine, Tamara, Amazon, there's no excuse not to get your friends or family or loved ones books, guys. Amazon's got used books for great prices. You can have them drop shipped directly from Amazon to the prison, and that's actually what the prison prefers. I love Marcus meditation. There we go. There's some. We're getting some information in here from Anon Moss. She's given us some ideas and references of what you guys can be doing, what I can be doing. And I expand my life every day. And the one thing that somebody told me in prison is when you stop thinking you need to learn anything and you stop taking advice and you think you have it all figured out, that's when you're going to find yourself alone and nobody wanting to listen to what you have to say if you're not willing to take advice from others. I get some amazing advice from some of my clients, from friends, from family, from watching other videos, even after prison show, even though his video's completely off topic as far as trying to focus on the positive aspect of rebuilding your life. Joe's channel is about entertainment, but he does touch on some subjects. And, I've said it, I wish Joe would take more of a serious approach because he's got such a mass follower and such a massive amount of followers that he could really send out some super powerful messages to people out there that are watching it for more than just entertainment. Or at least they might learn they're watching it for more than just entertainment. So if Joe, if you're watching, I hope you take some advice. Source irrelevant. I hear county jails are the worst. Yes, because county jails are not designed for long term. County jails are designed for, you come in, you get processed, awaiting either a sentence or awaiting a verdict or awaiting to get transferred. So there's usually not a whole lot of long-term situations in a county jail. I mean, you hear some horror stories of people getting stuck in counties for years waiting for their trials, but for the most part, county jails are high turnover. So federal prison in general is completely different from county jail. Another great thing to do is have Norton's anthology of English Lit and American Lit are great. Read quality lit. And that's the object of this video. The objective of this video is to get you to not just focus on anything. Great, it might be fun to go watch a movie, or it might be great to go read a horror story, or jump on Netflix. But all it's doing is frying a little bit of your time off to the side to where you're not focusing on your situation. You need to find a way to stay focused on your situation and find a way to be able to deal with it in a positive manner and not sticking your head in the sand. And having this conversation yesterday with this gentleman, it was an hour and 20-minute conversation. And, the guy's, he's not going to be a client. There's nothing I can really do for him. His son's getting ready to get released from prison in like February. So, he's already done everything. But listening to this guy's knowledge and this guy's passion, but the guy's realistic. He knows his son does not have it all figured out, and that's his worry. He's worried that his son's going to get out and violate and reoffend, and he's trying to come to terms with understanding that and realizing that that's out of his control, that he cannot walk for his son. Those were his exact words, is I cannot walk for my son. I love my son. It breaks my heart to see my son going through this, but I can't make my son's problems my problems. I'm going to give him all of the opportunities. I'm going to give him all of the tools necessary to make the right decisions. But if he chooses to make the wrong decisions, ultimately that's on him. And I cannot allow my life to be overthrown by somebody else's poor choices, family or not. And that's what a lot of us have a problem with saying is, I'll never turn my back on family. No one's saying turn your back on family. What people are saying when they say that is if your family is taking everything you're doing for granted and they're not doing anything to better themselves, they are becoming a user and an abuser, and you are becoming an enabler. So do not enable your friends and family to just do what they want to do without any consequences, because if you do not, the consequence they will finally face may be prison or death. So by telling somebody something hard that is hard to hear now might make the difference in a decision that they make or do not make later on in life. We heard it in that video. Making the hard choices now are what is going to allow us to live an easier life. Making the easy passive-aggressive or the easy immediate gratification choices that we're so used to making endures this long-lasting, anguishing life because we're never taking the necessary steps. There's so many cliches out there, guys. It's ridiculous. The problem is we don't understand the meaning to a lot of these cliches. We go out and repeat what we hear, but we don't practice what we hear. So when you start making your audio and your video match, so whatever you're saying, you should be doing and walking that line. If you're one of those people posting something on Facebook about, oh, this and that, or the flag, or Donald Trump this, or Hillary Clinton this, or whatever your rant is, what are you actually doing about it other than posting a comment in order to generate a response from somebody else? Your intent should not always be just to get under somebody's skin. And we live in a frustrating time because we live in, keeping up with the Kardashians. And even though that TV show is worn off, when somebody says watching TV like keeping up with the Kardashians, everybody knows what that means. Watching mindless, numbing TV that does nothing for us, doesn't help us with. You're better off watching South Park. At least South Park, you're getting actual real world events that's taking place, and it's not in it's not in this fake reality. It's drawn out and it's overdone and it's grandiose, but they're touching on points that are so ridiculous that we're not even seeing it in the real world. We're focused on things that don't matter, when we should be focused on the possibility of going to World War III anytime soon, and the possibility of it maybe being in our backyard. When foreign boots hit our soil, you're going to see everybody shift gears and finally unite. Right now, everybody is against each other. Blacks against whites, whites against blacks, gays against straight people against gay people. There's just all of this animosity amongst ourselves, and it's being perpetuated by media sources, and we're allowing it to happen. We're allowing to fall victim. We're allowing to become sheeple. So guys, you need to stand up. You need to take action. You're getting ready to go to prison. You may not be able to change that outcome, but you can change how you approach it and how it affects you going into the system, and what you do with your time and how you release. I hope every one of you that is a client of mine watches that video. Because, and if you're just jumping on now and you missed the video, the good thing is I leave these live streams up, so it takes about 10-15 minutes after the live stream ends, and then it will be available for viewing again, and you can watch that video. It's only a 5-minute video, and it takes place in the first couple minutes of the live stream, guys. Hey El Gordo, just saw your message there. What's going on? So, what else you guys got planned for this Saturday? You're getting sentenced in February. And how much time are you looking at again, El Gordo? El Gordo? Not Old Gordo. El Gordo. Today's a great day, guys. It's an amazing day outside. It's Saturday. I got up super early. Did a little bit of work on the computer for the client that we signed up last night. Went for a little jog. Went to the gym. Had a little breakfast, came back, did a little work on the promoting side, and got ready for this video, and here we are. That's why my face is a little pink. I'm still flushed from the outdoors. 36 months. Did you no, you don't want to surrender. El Gordo, you're asking if you should surrender before. I would say no, because are you going to try to qualify for RDAP, the drug program? And I'm just waiting for El Gordo to respond here. And I've got screens everywhere. I don't know which one to look at. I guess I'll look at this one since it's closer to the camera. What's going on, Roy? Roy surrendering on October 23rd. I've got another client surrendering on October 23rd as well. So, Gordo, so you're saying you should qualify. Your sentence is 36 months, so you're just missing the cutoff for the 12 months because you need to enter into RDAP with 37 months or more. So when you get into the program, you're going to be able to qualify 6 to 9 months off, depending on how long it takes you to get into the program. If you surrender right now, before your court date, what's going to happen is your time's going to start now. And who knows how long it's going to take from the time you get sentenced to the time that they actually designate you and you to get to your actual prison. That could be another month, 2 months away, so now, or 3 months away. So now you just knocked off another 2 or 3 months, and you're really cutting into your time for how much time you need to enter into the program. Plus, you get a 3-point reduction on your custody level for self-surrendering. And it doesn't count self-surrendering if you go turn yourself into county. I'm talking about self-surrendering to the designation that you're designated to. So my advice to you is not to turn yourself in yet. There's no point. Other than start your time now, but it may disqualify you from RDAP if you do that. And on a 36-month sentence, good time, halfway house, 9 months off for RDAP, you're looking at just over a year, and you can be finished with the program, El Gordo, or finished with prison, entering into the halfway house. So you just got to be able to play your cards right, and as this video says, never give up. Such a great, easy statement to say. Never give up. Just apply it. Understand what it means, get the context out of it, and apply it to your life, to what your everyday life is. Like these dogs. They look like they gave up a long time ago. Huh, Einstein? You gave up? Because you like to go outside, huh? You like to go pee-pee and poo-poo outside? You both do. You like biscuits? Who likes biscuits? They really are the best dogs in the whole freaking world. Dan, did you watch Source Irrelevant? Were you the one that referred that to me to watch Shot Caller? I did watch it. Really, really, really good movie. You know who that guy is? I don't know if you guys watch Game of Thrones, but he's the, what's his name? I forgot his name. Jamie Lannister. In Game of Thrones, the character Jamie Lannister is who plays in Shot Caller, the movie. And what a dramatic role, man. Insane. That was a really, really good movie. Wasn't it a true story, too? I think it was a true story, right? Or am I thinking of another movie? Because they're your dog. No, they're good dogs. They're easy. They are so lovey. They love everybody. They don't pee or poop in the house. They're good. They go outside. They eat biscuits. Pet your dog. Dogs are amazing. Animals are amazing. I've got 2 cats and 2 dogs. The cats won't sit in a chair, so we can't do a live cat cam. Greasy. Dan, when you were sentenced, how long time will you do the surrender? I think what you're asking, and Greasy doesn't have the best of English, so she's really trying to type in there, and God bless you, Greasy, because not everybody would even try to say what you're trying to say right now. So Greasy's asking, when you get sentenced, I believe what you're asking is when you get sentenced, how much time can they give you to self-surrender? And, that is a open-ended, loaded question, because I've seen people that 2 or 3 weeks, I've seen people 2 or 3 months, and I've seen people 4 or 5, 6 months. It just depends on the circumstances. Greasy, and for whatever it is, whatever the reason is, what we see is women tend to get a little bit more leniency pushed on them, meaning it's more likely you would get additional time to self-surrender than a man in the same situation. Fair? Not really, but does it work to your favor? It does. Why not take advantage of it? Jay, what's going on, Jay? We got all our clients in the house today. Jay is another client that we're going to be doing an interview with once we get the final verdict. So far, Jay went to his sentencing for those of you that are paying attention right now, Jay went to his sentencing, and the judge refused to sentence him. Said, I don't see how sentencing this guy to prison is going to do him any good. Pissed off the prosecution. The prosecution's hell-bent on him getting a sentence, and the judge refused to sentence him and said, you know what, I'm going to reset this case for 60 days. I need to do a little bit more research on this type of situation to see if I feel prison is going to be the right situation for him. And if I had to put my money on which way this is going to fall, I would say Jay is going to get probation. Jay has been an ideal, perfect candidate client. Not a millionaire, didn't have tons and tons of money. Matter of fact, I think me and Jay are still working on that right now. But my point is you don't have to be a millionaire to get probation. You have to be willing to work hard and put in effort. Jay has been busting his ass. Working, community service, going to meetings, his personal narratives. When we finished his personal narrative, when we finished his character reference letters, we were able to give him a product that he was able to turn in and turn this into great results. That's why the more time you allow yourself for this process, meaning the sooner you contact somebody like me to allow us to start implementing a plan, the better the chances we can help increase the odds in your favor. And Jay is another great example. Like I said, Monday, we're going to be interviewing Will Townsend, who's another client, who is a state case, who thought for sure was going to prison, was given probation, pissed off the prosecution. Prosecution tried to appeal it, and the appeal was lost, and the judge upheld his final decision of probation. So I'm telling you guys, don't just think that your attorneys are going to do all of the work. What a lot of you are finding out, and something else that Michael Santos said today that was really amazing. So when I ask a lot of you, do you have a paid attorney or an appointed attorney? You know, a lot of you will say, I have appointed attorney. And you feel like that's a disadvantage. And can it be in some situations? Okay, maybe. But something Michael Santos said on his on the same video that I'm talking about from earlier, with his interview with Danny, whatever the guy's last name was, he asked Danny, did he have a paid attorney or an appointed attorney? And Danny said he had an appointed attorney. Remember, Danny got like 180, he got a 10-year sentence. And he said, were you happy with your attorney? Danny said, no. I said, how come? The reason why he had a minimum mandatory is because of the quantity of drugs that were involved. There's nothing that could have been done with a better attorney. You got that minimum mandatory. It is what it is. And he got the bare minimum. He got 10 years. So Michael Santos responded and said, okay, well, my situation's different than yours. I was fortunate enough to have a lot of money as a young kid. I hired what I thought was to be the best attorney. And this attorney, instead of telling me what I needed to hear, told me what I wanted to hear because I paid him so much money. And I went to trial and lost and got 40 plus years. So you got to look at it as an appointed attorney has nothing to lose. He's getting paid by the federal government. He doesn't have any invested interest in lying to you or stroking your ego or stringing you along or saying, we're going to take this to trial because how else am I going to justify you paying me, $500,000 or $100,000? So a federally appointed attorney might be not the worst situation for you. Having a federally appointed attorney, as long as you have some basic questions to ask them and you have some guidance of what the direction is you need to go in and finding out programs that are available, which you can get through a prison consultant. I say it all the time. A halfway decent attorney combined with a prison coach is kind of an ultimate dream team because you're going to have an attorney who's going to go do his job. He's going to go get you your plea, and then you're going to have a prison consultant who's going to make sure everything else is in line, make sure your letters are proper, make sure you're prepared for your PSR, make sure you know what to say and what not to say during your pre-sentence investigation, knowing what you can do to qualify for the residential drug addiction program. I ask so many people all the time, do you plan on taking RDAP? Well, what's that? It's the substance abuse program. I'm not a drug addict. I don't have an issue with drugs. Do you drink at all? Do you ever smoke? Well, I drink a little bit here and there, or maybe I smoke a little bit of weed. Okay, stop. What credentials do you have to determine whether or not you have an abusive addiction to a substance, whether it be marijuana, drinking, pain pills? I was talking to another client who is on prescription. It was either oxycodone. He's on a prescription oxycodone. So when I asked him, do you have any substance abuse problem? He goes, no, I don't take any drugs except the drugs that my doctor prescribes me. Well, what does your doctor prescribe you? Oxycodone. Okay, if you were to stop taking the oxycodone right now, would you have any issues with withdrawals at all? I'm not saying you're going to get cold sweats and you're going to, run to the neighborhood junkie, but would it bother you at all? And he's like, well, I've been taking it for a long time, so I imagine, yeah, it's going to have some kind of effect. There you go. You are dependent on a chemical that can help you qualify for the drug program. So many of us are so fucking proud that we don't want to admit that, okay, maybe I have a slight issue. It's not life-threatening. It's not stopping me from working. It's not, I'm not turning tricks on the street for it. I'm not stealing for it. However, you've got a slight enough issue for a substance that if you just own that and accept it for what it is, this can not only help you get time off of your sentence, but it can help you take a program in prison that is going to enrich your mind with more than just drugs are bad. It's going to work on cognitive skills. What allowed you to make these poor decisions to land you in prison? It's going to help you open up and expose your flaws in your character. And if you think you've got no flaws, get the fuck off the channel, because everybody out there has got a flaw. Everybody. Except for Einstein and Oliver. Flawless. Sweater vest Einstein and Cowboy Oliver are flawless. But seriously, guys, seriously, educate yourself with the laws. You need to be your own advocate. There you go. I spent thousands on attorneys. I'm telling you guys, that's a great statement, Source, because, when you think that somebody else is going to do all the work for you and you can just sit around and stick your head in the sand or watch TV or play video games or just go to work and not focus on this, when the shit hits the fan, and all of a sudden now it becomes real and you're weeks away, and now you want to start taking action. Now you want to say your attorney didn't do their job properly. Everybody I talk to that's got a loved one in prison, everybody's filing a 2255 for ineffective counsel or some sort of an appeal on their case on why somebody didn't do their job right. What job did you do? You waited till you got to prison to find out that all this shit was done wrong. It might be too late. That's why all of these appeals are turned down left and right. It's very rare to see an appeal go through, especially like an ineffective counsel, because here's the thing: you have an attorney that you deem is doing their job incorrectly. Now the problem is maybe that attorney is not doing the best of jobs, but it's common practice for attorneys to not necessarily do the best jobs all the time. So everybody's filing these 2255s. They're coming in the groves to the appellate courts and whatnot. And what happens is they just get looked at as frivolous. Oh, it's another 2255. If they were to take every 2255 serious, we would probably have no attorneys left in the country. So until you start holding your attorney accountable early on, focusing him to do that, like we said, do what's uncomfortable now, have an easier life later. Stick your head in the fucking sand now, suffer the consequences in prison. Those are your options right now. So what are you doing to bust your attorney's balls? Or if he doesn't have balls, what are you doing to make sure your attorney is working for you? Do you know what questions you should be asking your attorney? If you do not, that's why you get on the phone with RDAP, the prison advocate, and we talk about what we can do to help you with your situation. We're not attorneys. We're not going to give you legal advice, but we can tell you what we would do in your situation. We can give you direction as to what you might want to try to do with your attorney. At the end of the day, your attorney is your attorney unless you're going to fire him and get a different attorney. So you guys are putting a lot of good comments into this video. I really appreciate it. We've got 9 likes on the video. If you haven't already liked my video, please hit the thumbs up on this video and come back to it later on, because right now you can't leave comments. That's the one thing on the live videos, because obviously it gets the majority of the views early and you can't comment on it until later. It doesn't let you comment right now other than in the live chat, but come back and comment after if you can remember. But yeah, definitely give me the up. Somebody just give me a thumbs up. High five. So somebody said get a bell when we receive donations and whatnot. So I'm in the process of setting up a bell onto this software. So when someone gives a donation, we can press a bell and it will do like a crazy bell and show your name and stuff and give you a nice little prop. So I do appreciate. We received a lot of donations over the weekend. I don't know why. Even some other prison consultants like Larry Levine sent me a donation. And you guys got to realize that these donations are not for me. The donations are not for like, oh, Shelly, let's go out tonight. We received some donations. No, that's not what the donations are for. And we're in the process of having it formulated on our website where we can show the donations that come in every month and what is spent every month on helping inmates, from consulting services to supporting inmates that are in prison through commissary type issues with food, clothes, phone privileges, things like that. So we appreciate it, guys. There was like $300 came in over the weekend in donations, and that's great because that helps so many. You guys have no idea. You probably do, but there's so many people that are in prison right now that go without. They get the bare minimums met, granted. They got their food, they got their basic clothes. In the wintertime, they'll give them a jacket. But it's freezing in prison 24/7, not just in the summer, or not just in the wintertime. In the wintertime, it's double whammy because it's cold inside and outside. But in the summer times, in the springtime, they keep the ACs rocking. I was in Florida, in Central Florida at Coleman, and it was freezing. Every night, I would sleep with a sweater and a little skull cap, and somebody knitted me a, like a sleep mask to cover my eyes and my earplugs so I would just block out everything. I was freezing. Used to sleep with my socks on, cold. And there's guys in prison that do not have sweaters, do not have thermal shirts, do not have sweatpants. All they have is their basic necessity clothes that the prison gives them, which are real thin, like a khaki pants material, and it does not keep you warm at night. So if you're able, guys, make that donation. It's simple. I usually have it's posted somewhere in here. Let's go ahead and grab it. There it is. It's in the description of the video as always, but make it easy for you and post it right there. I'd rather you guys do the donation through PayPal than through the Super Chat link, just because Super Chat takes 30 or 40%. PayPal takes like 2%. So it's a big difference because obviously eBay takes, or YouTube takes their 30%. That doesn't go to anybody except for YouTube, and YouTube doesn't need the 30%, bastards. So you guys have been awesome. I think that's about all we got time for today. Again, we'll probably start working on Saturdays, making Saturday about motivation and what you can do. So guys, just remember, those of you that are sitting around right now trying to think about how unfortunate you are to be in the situation and how unfair it is, try to yank yourself out of that victim mode and realize the chances are you did something to put yourself into this situation. And by putting yourself into that situation, you didn't just put yourself in that situation. You put your friends, your family, your kids, your animals, whoever else is in your immediate circle, you put them into the situation with you. So get out of victim mode, get positive, get upbeat, start taking control, start advocating your own case, just like Source Irrelevant said. Take an interest in your own situation because no one's going to care about this more than you. That's all I got to say about that. Guys, I'm RDAPdan, Federal Prison Time, people helping people every single day. Monday, we'll be live with Will Townsend, talking a little bit about how he got probation and what that meant to him. Next week, or the week after, on the 11th, we're going to be doing Ask the Attorney, so we're going to have an attorney live. Like Jay said, get up and get out. All right, guys, have a great weekend. I love every single one of you. Talk to you soon. Peace.